Better days, going for better days, going for better days.
So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining our panel today. We're discussing the music market boom in Nigeria and everything that you need to know. And we have esteemed panelists with us today. We're going to just go around and get everybody to say a little bit about themselves. So, D1, if you want to start off.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Dayo Adeneye. D1 happens to just be my on-air acronym, my on-air personality. But my name is Dayo Adeneye. It's good to be on board.
My name is Seun Kuti. I play with the Egypt 80 band, make Afrobeat music, and I also consider myself a revolutionary. You know, looking to bring about an end to domination through my music. You know.
Hi, I'm Abisoye Obayan, also known as Abis, and I'm the director of Horus Music Nigeria, a global music distribution company operating here locally. You know, we offer support for artists through distribution services and marketing. We help artists secure cash advances, and we pretty much into promoting independence in the music sector in Nigeria and Africa. Thank you.
Well, my name is Yemi Alade-Lawal. I'm an ex-manager to a few people. I'm an ex-promoter. Right now, I do music consulting, so I focus on big picture. I focus on opening door openings. I focus on strategy. So as a music consultant, but I've been a music promoter, a manager, and many other things.
Thanks very much, Yemi. And my name is Nina Condron. I'm the director of Horus Music, which is a global distribution and label services company. I sit across all the kind of different areas of the business. So I open the office in Nigeria and also in India, and I look after our white label services, which is for companies that want to become distributors, and also look after our label services, excluding Nigeria and India for the rest of the kind of global company. So in today's panel, we're going to be talking obviously about the Nigerian music market and how it's had such a boom over the last few years, and talk about whether the market can sustain this growth. And also for anybody who's kind of interested in entering the Nigerian market, what opportunities are available for you, and also some potential pitfalls to watch out for along the way. So without further ado, we'll get the panel started. So first of all, I want to ask this to D1. So the PwC predicts that Nigerian music streaming consumption will grow to 1.85 billion by 2023, with revenue rising to 18 million. Now, I understand that you've been in the industry in various different parts of the industry for a long time, so I'm interested to find out how you think that the Nigerian market has grown to where it is today, and that's just this huge growth that it's seen over the last few years. Where do you think that stems from?
Thank you for the question. The growth Nigerian music has attained it's not a surprise, given our size in terms of population. What we're experiencing today has always been there. I mean, from the days of the late Dayo to Ebenezer Obey to King Sunny Ade, Nigerian music has always been big. The late fella Nicola Kuti. Our Nigerian artists have always been accepted outside Nigerian borders. They've always gone to Ghana, the rest of Africa to play, and even to the USA, to UK. So Nigerian music has always been big, just maybe not commercially enough. But our population has been able to sustain it. We're the largest Black population on earth, over 200 million people. So that's enough to even sustain the music. But because of technology, when you throw in the music networks like MTV Base and MTV Africa, and the world has now become a global village. Anyone, anywhere across the world can listen to, can watch Nigerian music videos, and it has gotten more exposure, and more people have gotten to sample and listen to what we have been what we have known and what we have always enjoyed for decades, if not almost a century. So I'm not surprised at all that Nigerian music has gone that far, and it has grown that it's going to get even bigger. I mean, as more and more people, as technology gets better, it's going to even get a wider acceptance. As you can see, just a couple of weeks ago, about 4 of our artists were nominated for the Grammys. When you talk about a decade or 2 ago, it was a struggle. You could only get the likes of maybe King Sunny Ade. Of course, Seun Kuti was nominated a couple of times. But now we're getting to that level that the world is finally accepting that, wait a minute, it's something big, something good coming out of Nigeria and the rest of Africa. So it will continue to grow. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that's great. And yeah, definitely, the growth has been amazing. It's been really interesting to see, certainly from the kind of UK perspective. So you mentioned Seun Kuti there, which is good to kind of bring him in on the next question. So there are many independent artists in Nigeria, and it's something that I found quite interesting is that people have gone on to become global household names without major label backing. And I'm interested from your perspective as an artist, how you think this has happened.
Well, I think everything is about investment, really. We as artists, I want to say we as artists, as looking at ourselves detached from the reality of our situation. In Nigeria, we have a unique opportunity. I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't want to use this as a political platform to start giving political analysis. But we as artists in Nigeria, we are blessed to have an elite class that invest more in entertainment than they do in education. So we have the resources to tap into the opportunities, and that is one thing I don't want my fellow artists to do, that a lot of them want to do, because there's all this rivalry brewing now. Nigerian music, Nigerians are better than Ghanaians, Ghanaian music better than, this cannot be the narrative, because really there's nothing special about us in Nigeria except the investment that is available to us as indigenous artists. We don't need Warner Brothers as Nigerian artists to be able to amass $1 million from our local markets and use it to promote whatever we want to do, get the best PR internationally, get whatever we want to be, wherever we want to be. So we have that unique opportunity above any other nationality in Africa, to be able to, because there's one thing for the technology to be there, and there's another thing to access it. So we are independent in the musical sense of the word because we are not attached to major labels, but that is changing now. That is changing, Even I, to be honest, I've been 2 major labels in my career, but I left because I didn't want to be the small fish in the big river anymore. I was tired, so, and also I'd come to a stage in my career where I could do a lot of things on my own. I had the network, the connection. Not a lot of young artists have the opportunity. So in Nigeria, we are not signed to major labels, but we are also not independent per se, in the sense of an independent artist being free to express themselves anyhow they want. There are still a lot of societal norms. There are still a lot of protocols that artists have to observe to be able to be relevant and to have access to these opportunities. Let me call it that. And for me, what is missing though is the back end of it all. So we have a lot of artists here truly that have risen independently. So this is being independent is a good thing, that you can shine, you can do your thing and you're your own boss. But now the back end of it, a lot of artists don't have protection of their works here. And we don't have a lot of royalties coming to us for radio and television plays here. So you find a lot of artists who, because they are no longer relevant in terms of commercial success, but I've had a lot of commercial success in the past, living harder lives are not being able to maintain their standard of living or even a decent standard of living, so too many musicians falling off and the cycle is repeating itself. That's the back end that I feel that we as artists have to come together to find a way to give ourselves that protection, that when you've done the work in your lifetime, you're able to live off your work and, at least be able to pay your bills and have that decent life that everybody needs for basic human dignity. So yeah, that for me, we are able to do a lot here independently, but because we're in a very special position as Nigerian musicians to be able to access the amount of investment that is available to us here.
That's great. Thank you, Seun. I think Abiz, you wanted to talk a bit about that side of things as well.
Yes, thank you, Seun, for the points that you made. Really, really factual. Well, I will say, first of all, the work ethic. Work ethic for our independent artists is stronger. I see independent artists always trying to be better. And those that have, gone through that route, they are huge today. They are the ones that, they've been big outside this country. The work ethic is really important. I also want to talk about deals. The deals available to these artists has helped them to reach the point that they have. Also, we'll touch on fan support. Most of the artists that are really huge from Nigeria is because of their fans too. Their fans giving the support that they need to go that far is really essential. I'll also like to speak on connections. Contacts in the industry is really important. The connections that you have, the people that you know. For the artists that are major globally, they've been able to do that through connections. The contacts they have abroad in the UK, in the US, has really aided that growth. And speaking from a place of care, working as a distributor, I intend to work with the artists in a way that the artists can grow, not just content acquisition, giving the supports, marketing supports, and making sure they get the contacts that is needed. I have quite some level of connections in the industry, and I always offer it to my clients. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much, Abiz. So Yemi, I'm going to come to you now, and just because as most people may be aware, you've worked with a lot of artists from outside of Nigeria, so the UK and various other places, and taking them to the Nigerian market in order to try and grow their careers in the Nigerian market, but also that can translate to back in the UK as well. So I'm interested to find out what opportunities you think are available for people who are interested in the Nigerian market and might be looking to enter for the first time.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks for the question. I just want to say that my entry into Nigeria actually came about in 2008. And it started because I was working with an artist called Adeneye, who's an artist signed to a major label in Germany. And she was doing pretty well in France. And we were working on a UK plot. And as we were working on the UK plot, we started devising a plot to getting into Nigeria because it was important for her as a Nigerian to kind of like journey and trace herself back home. And at the time also Nigeria was booming in the sense like there was the buzz going on. And like D1 had said in the beginning, MTV base, they were going into Africa. You had all this, that was the first kind of wave of influx of Western companies into Africa. So we thought it was probably the right time to go in. And so we started looking from the UK, looking for people who were in Nigeria, who were plugged in and who were doing it. At the time, the poster boy for the Nigerian market was Two-Face Idibia. And so he had this album called Grass to Grace, which I believe D1 is responsible for. D1 and Keke with Kenneth's Music are responsible for. So when we knew, well, they were responsible for him, before he went to do this Grass to Grace record. But this was his first kind of like record that he was doing, I believe actually through his Hypotech at the time. And so we approached him and we thought like, look, we'd like to come in and support you. And so we started with live. So Ineka being a strong live artist in the West, we felt like we will go and try and do some live shows in Nigeria. So that's how we got into the Nigerian market and with her. So it was a good look for us. It was very different because there was a big culture shock from live shows in the UK to live shows in Nigeria. But it was a great experience because we then got to see and be a part of, you know, got to see the Nigerian market. It's a vast market. You know, people think Lagos, but Nigeria, like D1 said, 200 million people. You know, there are people on the east side of the country, on the north side of the country, and the south and the west. So with that tour, there was a 6-city tour, and we were able to get on the tour and perform. And that was our beginning of planting a seed in Nigeria. Nigeria in of itself, like Seun said, is very problematic because there are issues. Everything is powered by the artists. It's a lot of creators' energy, you know, the artists and then the independent labels that are powering them. They are the ones that are pushing this. In terms of like infrastructure, it doesn't really exist per se. And when it exists in name, it doesn't really exist in practicality, you know? So it was tough, but it was also like an eye opener because, you know, to get into a big market, the biggest market in sub-Saharan Africa, you just have to do the groundwork. And there's a lot of groundwork to do, you know? So that gave us the appetite to kind of continue to invest. And at the time, Ineka only had the first record. So we were preparing for the second record, which was the record that gave us Heartbeat. And Heartbeat became like a global hit for her. It was a UK top 20, top 10 hit. And it was also a song that Rita Ora kind of like sampled and made a top, it was a #1 track for her in the UK, but it was an Eka sampled voice. But going into Nigeria enabled us to start mixing Pidgin English, which is the local language that everybody speaks. You can say, I call it a language because, you know, millions of people speak Pidgin English, into her music. So it was no longer just music-oriented content. It now started having elements of what people back home can listen to and hear and consume and accept. So, and that was really the beginning, the genesis for us in terms of like going from the UK into Nigeria. And it was very interesting.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you, Yemi, for sharing that story with us. Definitely a lot of knowledge there from you kind of entering the market, and you're still doing stuff there today, which is great. So from the kind of what opportunities there are, obviously there's been a lot of growth in the industry, as we've kind of been discussing over this panel. But what I'm wondering, and this is a question to Dayo, do you think that the Nigerian industry has the infrastructure to sustain its growth?
That's a horse of a different color, to be honest with you. We've always found a way around Africa, not just Nigeria, has its peculiar problems, and that's not just to do with the entertainment industry or the music industry. If you ask any Nigerian, they will complain and tell you everything about the electricity problem, to the road network, to not being able to get anything from government and what have you. But the Nigerian spirit in us always finds a way around it. When we came into the music industry, it barely existed. Apart from the 1 or 2 international labels like Decca, Bonodis, there was nobody to sign the smaller guys. Apart from Fela, Kuti, Ebenezer Obey, King Sunny Ade, I mean, I don't think you could find an artist below the age of maybe 30. And if you were an artist then, you probably went into music because, you know, you dropped out of school. The answer to that question is...
I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I was around then. I was 8.
Were you a musician then?
Yes, very much so.
So
I got paid.
Oh yeah, yes, of course. You were in Baba's band, yes, yes, along with Femi, your brother, and yes, you've been tutored for a long, long time. So really, as you can see, the Nigerian spirit, we will always overcome. We don't wait for government. We don't wait for the handouts. We find a way around it. When we came, we didn't really think we were going to start a record label. We just felt, wait a minute. We've been on radio, we've been on TV, we've been playing Tupac Shakur, we've been playing Notorious B.I.G., Michael Jackson for years. Michael Jackson had never called me to say thank you for helping my music blow. So why don't we turn around and support our young ones? Why don't we look around our youth and see the 1, 2, or 3 that we can help promote and see where it goes? And that's how the Kenny's Music, Prime Time, and the rest came about. So the answer to the question is Nigeria and Africa will find a way to build that infrastructure. Like Seun said, like Yemi said, the infrastructure is not there. But if you have the willingness, you have the talent, you have the zeal, the zest, and you definitely want to succeed, you will find your way to a studio. You will find a producer to help you produce that music. You find a way to get it to Alaba. At least in those days, you take your music to Alaba. Now you can just upload it to the internet and anybody can download it from here to the US, to the UK. So, so many have tried to build that infrastructure. But Nigeria, like they'll tell you, is a country that defies all odds. It defies, except the laws of gravity. Even the laws of gravity say Nigeria defies, because what goes up in Nigeria never comes down. Ask any Nigerian. Anything that goes up, the price of petrol, the price of water, the price of, it never comes back down. But I think Nigerians will find a way. We'll find a way to get our music out to the world. As far back as 15, 16 years ago, Rita Marley invited myself, Two-Face, Kenny, some artists to Jamaica for Bob Marley's posthumous birthday. And we were on some remote island somewhere, and they were playing Jamaican music on the yard. And the next thing I heard was Yori Yori. And I was like, wait a minute, we are way out in some island. What is that bracket I'm hearing? And of course it was. And at that time, it hit me like, wait a minute, our music is going to go places. And at that time, social media wasn't even as big as it was now. As it is now. Now you can upload a song. It's being heard in Alaska somewhere. So the industry, the Nigerian spirit, will find a way, infrastructure or not, to get our talents out there, to get our music out there, to let the world know what we have to offer. And we just pray that they continue to embrace it. Look at what Nicola, his music continues to thrive. Everybody is sampling Fela's music now, from Burna Boy to Kylie Rowland. So the Nigerian spirit will always survive. It will live. When Fela was there, when Fela was alive, the infrastructure was not there, but Fela would tour the world. He would take his music to the far corners of the globe. So the Nigerian spirit, I believe, will survive, whether the infrastructure is there or not.
That's great. Yeah, no, thank you very much for your thoughts there. And so for somebody who's kind of entering the market for the first time, what would you say are the kind of pitfalls or kind of things that they kind of need to be aware of that the industry is different?
This is one area that I'm very particular about, because a lot of our potential artists or wannabe artists, a lot of them don't understand why they're getting into the business.
That's right.
Most don't understand, or they don't know whether they want to be famous or they want to be rich. They just say, oh, Davido has blown. I want to be like Davido. So they need to, first of all, get educated, educate themselves on the industry they're getting into, and then be realistic and be honest with themselves. Look, do I want to get into this thing because I want to be famous, I want to be popular like Wizkid, or I want to be rich like Davido? Or I just want my talent known. I want to change the world. I want to make a difference. I want to make it and then help uplift the next coming generation. They must have an understanding why they're getting into, otherwise they will get lost very quickly. Talent is not enough. We always told our artists this. The art of Kenny's Music, we had over 50 artists, from King Sunny Ade to Lagbaja to Play Dayo. And one constant we always told them was, your talent is not enough. you need to understand the business. It's called show business. You must understand the business of it, because when you do blow and you start to make that money starts to come in. How do you handle it? How do you make sure that, like Seun said earlier, how do you make that 5 years from now, you're not back into squalor, you're not back in the ghetto where you came from? How do you translate that fame? How do you translate that popularity? How do you continue to mine that your talent, whether it's singing, it's songwriting, whatever, you're a producer? How do you continue to make sure that 5, 10, 20 years down the line, you're still able to feed, even if you are no longer popular, but you're able to diversify and continue to be relevant, or even if you're not relevant, you're not going back to squalor. So those are the pitfalls. But the last one I would like to mention is that most of our artists, because they are not educated enough. And when I say educated, I'm not talking of college degrees or what have you. I'm saying they don't study the business. They don't bother to find out what the business is all about. They just believe, oh, I can rap, or I can sing, or I have this talent. Just help me. Once you help me, I can blow. They forget that there are segments to it. You as an artist, you cannot be the songwriter. You cannot be your own producer. You cannot be your own marketer. No, it takes away from your energies. If you are writing your own song, you are promoting it, you're the one that will take it to the radio stations, you're the one that will go. It drains you of your creative energy. So get proper education, get proper management, which is what Kenny and Prime Time did for our artists. We let them get on with their talent. You, don't worry, just go to the studio, we'll get you a good producer, we'll package the album for you, we'll go promote it, we'll get you the endorsements, we'll make sure that your music is there to be nominated for the awards, what have you. And that's what management does. But lately, because most artists now are independent, quote unquote, they believe, oh, once they blow, they don't need anybody again. They don't need a manager. They don't need anybody's advice. And they usually end up going down the wrong path. It doesn't last. Independents don't survive. Just count 10. Very few survive being independent. You still need that structure. You need that management. You need people to advise you. You need people to make a way, people to look down the line and say, wait a minute, okay, we're not going to do the next album this way. We're going to go this direction. That's what management does for you. So those are some of the pitfalls that anyone who wants to get into the industry, who's thinking of getting it, whether it's music, movies, or just entertainment in general. Educate yourself on the industry you're getting into, so you don't get in there, you make it, you blow, and then you don't know what to do with your fame. You don't know what to do with the money that comes from it. So that's my take.
And also, like, for people from Nigeria looking to work in the UK, they always make the grave mistake that how it works in Nigeria is how it works in the UK. And because, like, the market is different and it's structured, to do live shows, yeah, you can start with local promoters who will kind of like build your profile up, but eventually you're going to go to the Live Nations, to the AEGs, to the Metropolis of this world. So to go in there, they work to a plan. And I think a lot of African artists coming from Nigeria trying to work in the UK, they don't realize that they have to stick to a plan and work to a plan to grow a territory, and obviously, like you also said, D1, like they look at the ones that are doing it, maybe like a Burna Boy, and they just see a snapshot of what they've done, through social medias, and they think, oh yeah, okay, cool, I'll just go out, and everything will be all right. But they won't understand that they're actually putting in some groundwork, and they have a little bit of an infrastructure in place. So maybe be a life agent that they have in place, be someone doing their press in place, or maybe even be like a marketing consultant that they're working with in the UK market to get them the shows of 50, the shows of 100, the festival shows, and then build it up, So I think, and then when you think about that, then you do it like multiple territories, like a show Kuti does. So you're now doing France, Germany, the Netherlands. You're going around across the world.
It's tedious. If you ask Seun, Seun will tell you it's tedious. When you have to do like maybe a 16-country tour, and you're going back to back to back. But most don't understand. They don't know. They just want, I want to be like Seun, or I want to be like David. I want to blow. They don't understand the nuances I mean, I was in US late last year, and I turned on the Trevor Noah show, and I saw Burna Boy. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, for him to be on the Trevor Noah show, I mean, somebody must have done a lot of legwork.
Exactly.
And I mean, you're talking about presidents and Secretary of State and people like, I mean, Big Shot, Denzel. So for Burna to make it to that show, somebody has made some calls, somebody. So those are the things that people who are getting into the industry, they need to understand that there's no such thing as an overnight success. Somebody has to put in the sleepless nights. There'll be managers, there'll be press, like you said, people who are coordinating behind the scenes that you just don't get to see.
Yeah, yeah. And Abisoye, you wanted to come in on this as well?
Okay, so before I speak on this, I would like to quickly go back to the question you gave Yemi, and talking about opportunities available for artists trying to come into the market in Nigeria. Well, I'll say, with a country that D1 had said, with over 200 million in population, there is a wide array of options and choices and interests. So that said, there is sheer support. Just for sheer support, like the fans, if with a well thought strategy, you can come into the music industry and just be successful out of people supporting you. There's a client I'm currently working with. She lives in Canada. She was raised in the UK, Nigerian origin, and I was able to get our playlist just our first attempt. This is our second record ever recorded or put out, and she was able to make playlists, nice placements. So also, I'm currently here now for Malian Music, and which is a label owned by Mali. And our artist, there's an artist there whose name is C Black. That's one of the artists I had discovered from the street corner, doing his music. I was there giving development here and now support for him, and just out of hard work and all, he's been able to go from here to working with artists in the UK, and artists in the UK like African Boy has been able to work with him too. So there's opportunities here for independent artists looking to enter the market, and I'm ready to be of service. So to speak on infrastructure that D1 had mentioned about, infrastructure to sustain our music industry will be structure. Structure needs to be in place for any artist who is putting in the work or a label. The structure is important for the music industry to continue going. We need to have the right structure in place. Some do have, and some they're still working to get it, but it's very important. Like that's a checklist. Culture. We need to be able to put culture in the music, promoting our culture. I think what has actually helped us to stand out in the global music space is our culture. The Afrobeat culture you put in your music, the sound and topic, it could be appearance. Yeah. Also control. Artists should be able to have a level of control on the creative side. If they maintain certain level of control on the creative side, yes, you can have a sustainable career, and the music industry can continue. Music industry in Nigeria can continue to grow. Inclusion as well. Artists need to be inclusive in their marketing strategies and whatever plan that they have going on. Like D1 had said, management is key. There's no independent. You cannot just do it on your own. But when the management is trying to do something, you should be aware. Try to be part of it. Put in, your own support. You have to be able to push yourself as well. Devise strategies that can work for you. Now, speaking on pitfalls, the pitfalls especially is information. People lack information, the right information about how music business works. And, especially putting it to the best use for yourself. You need to study the market, study the trends. And when I say trends now, it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be only music trends. It could be trends on how, the society is going, reality, study the trends, see how you can fit into that. I have been able to work with some young artists that just them thriving on trends. They've been able to secure themselves great deals. Currently offer a package at our distribution company known as AFTS, Affordable for the Sector, which makes great deals, global deals, like international deals, or the kind of deals to secure yourself a spot on the radio, having your music played on the radio. I put all this together in deal, so it's affordable for them. So that's why it's called AFTS, Affordable for the Sector, and it's been really impactful. Recently, one of the artists that is on this deal, his name is Born Star. He has worked with Naamali and Zlatan. Born Star Q2. He was able to make top 10 on MTV Base at his first release. First release is the first person that got on the deal. We just created this package December, and he got on it, and just weeks into it, he made top 10 on MTV Base. I would like to just leave it there for now. Thank you.
And that's great. No, thank you very much, Abiz. As I mentioned earlier, we've got a lot of wealth of knowledge on this panel. So I'm sure that these guys are open if you want to try and get in touch with them on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, though, and all these things. So do reach out. Sadly, we're kind of drawing near to the end of the panel. So I've just got one last question, which is for everyone. What is next for Nigeria, and what can we expect to see in the future?
What is next for Nigeria would be, advancing our creativity, advancing our culture, pushing our culture the best way possible. We should support each other. There's a great value in collaboration. People should have seen that. I think with Burna Boy winning the Grammy, that's the power of collaboration, because, I'm a big fan of hip hop. I remember this group, Naughty by Nature, should be the very first hip hop group to ever win the Grammy. And if they have really, they worked on the album with Burna Boy, and with like an interpolation of their old hit record, and Burna got a Grammy for the album. So that's a well thought plan, and I'm going to advise that we keep supporting each other. If we do like Seun had earlier said, I would say there's no better way to describe independence without mentioning Seun Kuti. He's really independent with his music. So it took it that far to get the Grammy nomination. So it is key to put in the work. And I know like a lot of artists are also doing so in Ghana, South Africa, Tanzania. So it's important for us to recognize that and work together instead of, antagonizing each other or, trying to divide each other, because it's really a win for everyone when the culture or the sector, the African music industry is growing. It's really a win for everyone, because now you can go on tour to Ghana and these places. You can make a lot of money being on tour in Africa without going abroad. And I think it used to be like that back in the days with Fela Kuti, Sonny Ade, Ebenezer Obey, like doing what I rightfully said. Thank you.
Thank you, Abiz. Yemi, same question to you. So that's what's next for Nigeria, and what can we expect to see in the future?
Well, the future can only be bright, right? So they've really, the Nigerian spirit has done really well to power up what's going on. It would be nice that as things are really being done on the upside, to secure also what's happening on the bottom end, which is people's legacies for songwriters, singer-songwriters who write stuff, for them to be able to have a fallback, not only from their own intellectual property rights, but for them to be able to still earn money continuously as their work continue to get exploited. So I think that dialogue that goes on between people on radio or the radio commissions that they have in Nigeria and the artists should carry on. I think they should strengthen their institutions like their P-Man and their co-sons or what have you that they have there, which are the PROs that they have there. And like the so-called musician union that is there too, strengthen that. Not necessarily to the parity of what's happening in the West, but that really works to make the Nigerian music market more robust. I think, you know, in terms of like what the future is going to be like though, for as an industry, they need to kind of like find genuine voices to work with government, you know, so that there's more funding and it's more of an enabling environment, because the potential for the Nigerian digital economy is colossal. You know what I mean? Already right now, that is only being powered by the creators' input. It's doing really well. Now imagine that more energy is built into it. It's just going to be really, really enormous. So I really actually see Nigeria in the future doing much, much better. Nigerians, we're very good at clamoring, and we are, so, you know, now that one person has finally gotten a Grammy, you would see more people. They've been shouting. Gongwaso was all about, I'm going to be the first to get a Grammy, right? And I think Gongwaso came out in 2008. So the first real Grammy that landed finally in that category this year. And that's a good 10-year gap, if not more. So we'll see more things, like we'll see more, we'll see the artists become more creative, and hopefully we'll see a collaboration between the state and the creative industry being much more strengthened. And yeah, in as much as the creators are able to eat after, at the end of the day, I am very happy, you know, and I'll be very happy because I'm more for the creator. I'm more on their side than anybody else's side. So that's what I think. I think the future is really bright.
That's great. Thank you. And Dayo, same question to you, please.
The future for Nigerian music is very, very bright. I have no doubt. We will continue to have more discoveries. We will discover more, vibrant artists. The world has become a global village. There will be more collaborations, more international artists we want to collaborate with our artists. Our artists will probably enjoy bigger and better lucrative contracts and tours. If only government would do something and provide an enabling environment. And when we say this, people always think that we're asking government to give money, give the artists money, or give the record labels money. No. Provide a platform, an environment where the record label can thrive. They don't have to worry too much about piracy. That's what killed the record labels in Nigeria. It was mostly piracy. The artists can reap the fruits of their labor in that when they do a show, they're not being harassed by police, or the contracts they sign are fulfilled. Because we say for every toothpaste that succeeds, for every Davido, for every Burna Boy, they in turn employ managers, they employ dancers, they employ producers, they will employ 5 to 6 to 10 to maybe 15, 20 people. Ask Seun. Seun has a band of how many members? And each one of those members has families that they will cater for. And these artists will also pay taxes. So those are the things that government needs to understand, and they will benefit the government. If Burna Boy sells 100 million downloads, and you are part of that process, and you are taxing that income, government is benefiting. So the future for Nigerian music is really, really bright. Like Yemi said, I see it going bigger and better. The sky is just a stepping stone. We're going to be celebrated more. As this recent Grammy wins have shown that the world has finally, not finally, it's embracing more. Fela took Nigerian music out there. King Sunny Ade has always been doing tours since 30, 40 years ago. Haruna Oshola, for those who don't even know, the late Haruna Oshola was always on tour in Europe, the rest of Africa. So I see bigger and better things for Nigerian music. It's going to open up, and we pray that we will all be around to continue to enjoy it. And I'm happy. I thank God for being able to be to have played a small role in that process. So I smile when I see a Burna Boy collecting the Grammys. I smile and I'm happy when I see a Whiskey doing a collabo with Beyonce. A Two-Face surviving 20 years in the industry. I'm happy and to have played a small role in that process. That gives me a lot of delight and a lot of joy.
That's great. Thank you so much. We have run a little bit over, so I just want to say thank you to all of the panelists, and I hope that you've enjoyed this discussion and enjoy the rest of Liverpool Sound City Digital Edition for this year. Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks.